Hello, and welcome to Lunchbreak with GABC, everyone. I'm your host, Ashley Mateos. I'm the head of the German-American business community at the Carl-Schurz-Haus. For those of you who don't know, the Carl-Schurz-Haus is one of the 12 German-American institutes in the Verbund Deutsch-Amerikanischen Zentren, that's VIDAS, or Association of German-American Institutes. The Carl-Schurz-Haus is located in Freiburg, Germany, and is supported in part by its members. We offer a diverse cultural program, English language courses for all ages, and we also have a vibrant all-English library. Our main goal is to facilitate transatlantic discourse across all areas, ranging from literature to politics to business, which brings us here today. So in addition to coordinating the English language courses for adults at the Carl-Schurz-Haus and in companies, I'm also head of our German-American business community, or GABC. We provide events centered around transatlantic business relations, professional development, and networking. I have been on a brief paternal leave hiatus, but I'm very happy to be back at the GABC helm, here with you again for another lovely lunch break. So that being said, I would like to thank you for spending your lunch break with us. Here with me today is Janina Brudy-Weißenborn from JBW Consulting. I'm mixing up the German and the English. And Natalie Riede of Natalie Riede Coaching. She's one of our GABC members. Also with us is Jonathan. He's one of our interns at Carl-Schurz-Haus, and he's going to be dropping some useful links into the chat. You might have seen them already for those of you participating via Zoom. For those of you watching via YouTube, we will upload those links later to the YouTube recording, so do check back at another time. So we're going to first hear from Janina, who will give you some keen insight and tangible tips on self-leadership. And then we're going to chat with Natalie about her coaching career, how it developed, and also how she helps her clients reach their goals. So please feel free to post any questions in the chat for Janina, Natalie, or myself, and we will do our best to answer them. So we're going to start with Janina. She is a cultural and communications scientist with strong intrinsic motivation to grow and develop. She has been working in various roles in companies in the field of learning and development for over 10 years now. She thrives on supporting people, teams, and organizations in effectively shaping change. I'm very interested in seeing what she has prepared for us today. And so with that, I will say, take it away, Janina.
Thank you very much, Ashley, for the great introduction. So my name is Janina Brudy-Weißenborn, but most people call me Nina because it's simpler. And I'm, like Ashley said, a consultant, trainer, and mentor on learning and development, but also change and transformation. And one topic that's especially one of my heart topics is actually self-leadership. And I would like to give you some tips on self-leadership today. And at first, I would like to take you to this beautiful park. It kind of reminds me of the Japanese garden and Z Park for all of you who have been there. It's a very beautiful garden, and I would like to ask you a simple question. And the question is, would you rather be a bee or a fly? And it might seem like a weird question at first, but if you think about it, if you were a bee and you were in that park, you would look for good smelling, beautiful flowers, and you would most likely succeed. If you were a fly, you would be in the same park, but you would most likely look for rotten and bad smelling things, and you will find them. So the thing is, where's your focus? And that is actually my first lesson on self-leadership is where is your focus? Often in life, we are focused on all the things we can't control, all the things that are happening in our life, like weather, or politics, or crime, and we lose our sense of control and power. We feel helpless. So one thing I would encourage you to do, think about what can I control more? Because you can always control your attitude, you can always control your thoughts, and you can control your behavior. And by doing so, you can also influence people. You can influence your family, you can influence your community, you can even influence politics. So the first thing that I would like to share with you is the focus of the bee. But then you might say, well, not only the bee focuses, but also the fly does. That's true. But the difference is the bee focuses on the positive side of life. And this is the second tip I can give you, is to cultivate gratitude, because being positive is easily said, but how do I do that? especially if I have a hard time. And that's when I would like to share with you the technique of just cultivating gratitude. And for that, you can just take 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It doesn't take a lot of time, but think of 5 or 10 things you're grateful for right now, in this moment. And if you do this exercise and you do it on a regular basis, it would change something in the way you feel. It would change something towards the attitude of life and how you conceive life. And one tip I would actually give you by cultivating gratitude is to write down in a journal on a daily basis. Why writing it down? Because the way our brain works is if you write something down, it's real. It's written on a paper, it's there. So it helps us conceive and build gratitude. So this is one thing I would encourage you to do. And if you do that, you will see that sometimes it's really hard to find things you're grateful for, and sometimes really easy. But the more often you do it, the easier it actually gets. And that brings me to my next point, which is enjoying the ride. Love the process and the results. Why is that? Well, some people are very focused on the results and achieving their goals, and they forget to look left and right, and they don't enjoy the way because all they have in mind is the finishing line. And we're often trained that way. That's how school trains us. You know, only the results count, not so much the process of learning and how we actually got there, but more what's written on the paper and if it's the right answer. The other side is that if we love the process so much, but don't think about the results, we explore, we learn, we have the chance to learn a lot, but if we don't set goals, we're probably going to go nowhere and everywhere. So the combination of loving the process and the results is actually what's going to help you to be successful. And loving the process, and that's something I would really, really like to give to you, is anticipating failure. Why is that so? When we're children, we just anticipate failure. When we learn riding a bike, we don't think of falling down, but we're probably going to fall down. What we do is we get up again. And somehow, as grown-ups, we think we just need more discipline. We just need to be stronger. We just need to focus more, and then we're not going to fall down. We're not going to fail. But failing is part of the process. Doing mistakes is part of the process. So what you actually can do is anticipating failure and making a plan for it. For example, if you plan on going to the gym on a regular basis, it's most likely that at some point you're going to get sick. You're going to catch a cold or something. It's going to happen. And when you come back, training is not going to be at the same point as it was before. So make a plan for that case. Or if you have a diet, what's going to happen if you are invited? How are you going to get back on that horse again? Make a plan for that, anticipate it, and see it as part of the process. That's going to make things so much easier. The next point is done is better than perfect. Sometimes what we do is we set big goals, which is fine. But sometimes they're so big that we get scared. So we don't start. They're there and we get scared of the big mountains, so we don't start climbing. One advice I can give you is to cut it into small pieces. Make small steps out of it and celebrate and acknowledge every small success. Just like running a marathon. If you start training, you're not going to run 23 kilometers at once. No, what you do is you walk. Then at some point you start running. At some point, you will achieve 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, and so on. And you should celebrate every small step of that. And I can only encourage you to celebrate the small steps and to celebrate the successes. And don't take too much time to make plans and concepts and strategies. Because concepts, strategies, and plans can be perfect. they sometimes have the illusion that it's going to be perfect, but implementation never is, and that's fine. So that is why done is better than perfect. It's kind of like the saying, life happens while you're busy making plans. So start living and don't spend too much time on the plans part. And the last one is actually talk to yourself like a friend or your favorite leader would. Because self-empathy is key. Self-empathy is key to self-leadership. Most people have a very harsh and strict inner voice, especially when they fail. So seeing it as part of the process and talking to yourself like a good friend or leader would helps. Imagining what would a good friend say? What would they say to me? Would they encourage me? What would help me in this situation? Helps to change perspective and actually find a way to get back on that horse again. So those are only a few impulses, and I could talk about this topic a lot more, but I'm actually going to stop at that point and say you're very welcome to connect with me. I'm very happy to share more of that kind of information or just have a nice talk with you. You can find me on LinkedIn and on my website. And now I'm very happy to hear more about Natalie Riede. And thank you very much for listening.
Thanks so much, Nina. If anyone's interested in further workshops, mentoring, or peer learning experiences, please do reach out and contact Nina for those. Those points all very much resonate for me. And I was taking my own notes, and in caps, I wrote, done is better than perfect. I think that's something that I can't tell myself that enough, especially with projects and creations that I'm taking on. And so thank you for those tips and for those advice. I hope that it resonates also with our audience today. I think for now, we will jump right into the next interview with Natalie. I'm going to first introduce Natalie Riede because I've known Natalie for quite some time now. She actually started her working life in Freiburg as one of our English teachers at the Carl-Schurz-Haus, and a lot has happened since then. Natalie is a stage 4 cancer survivor, and she's also a mother of 2. She joined our business community after establishing her own coaching business as a women's empowerment hypno coach. And she's here with us today so we can all learn a little bit more about her journey, her training, and to hear what's next from her. So thank you for joining us today, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me.
For our viewers who are unfamiliar, could you describe your services and the type of coaching that you offer in a little more detail?
Yes, of course. So I call myself a hypno coach, and that's because I use life coaching and hypnotherapy. Primarily, we work with your subconscious mind because that is where we store all of our belief systems, our memories, how we grew up, how we perceive the world is all based in your subconscious mind. So that's where I primarily like to do my work because you can actually then have really rapid transformational changes. So that's why I coined the term hypno coach. And I basically help women get unstuck so that they can release those blocks, those beliefs, those fears, doubts, insecurities, people pleasing, perfectionism, procrastination, all of those things. I help you release them so that you can feel fully confident in yourself and your abilities so that you can actually create a life that you love.
Lovely. And what actually drew you to become a coach?
It was actually my battle with cancer. So I battled cancer twice. And obviously before that, I was a teacher for Carl-Schurz-Haus and also as a private English teacher at a Waldorf school. And teaching was always my passion. And then after I had cancer, I also had a near-death experience where I almost died from complications from surgery. And I had to plan my own funeral, which was heavy, as I'm sure you can imagine. And it was actually that moment, that wake-up call of I had so many regrets. I was doing things that I thought I should be doing, and rather than exploring everything that I really wanted to do unapologetically and authentically myself, And during my healing process, I actually went to Reha and I did a lot of holistic health. I had coaching and mentorship and meditation and hypnotherapy and art therapy and dance therapy and all these other things, as well as normal talking therapy. And that was kind of what my catalyst was, because then I was like, well, I can take my experience and I can then help other people change their lives, because my fundamental belief is you shouldn't have to go through something really traumatic to have a wake-up call that you only have one life and you owe it to yourself to live it. And I'm here to give you the tools and resources and strategies so that you can actually do that.
Mhm. And you mentioned that you were exposed to a variety of different types of therapy in order to get you through that experience. So what made you kind of focus in then on hypnotherapy and wanting to become a certified coach?
So during my recovery, I was doing normal talking therapy, and I did that for the first year. And that really helped me because I was in a deep depression. But then when I discovered hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming, which also works with the subconscious mind, I had really rapid shifts and changes. And so I think they complement each other really well. But what I realized that in the traditional talking therapies, it can take a really long time to unpack and to move through difficult things. Where through hypnosis and through other subconscious works, you can have that rapid transformation. You can change your perspective and implement different things that changes your thoughts, your behaviors, and your actions. They all feed into each other. And that for me was just pivotal, that I didn't have to go through years and years and years of therapy to move forward. I could rapidly change. And like that is what I want to offer other people as well, because like life is precious. Your time is really precious. So let's, do the best that we can as quickly as we can so that we can move to like that next level, that next vision of ourselves.
Mhm. I think you also embody kind of this seize the day attitude, go for your goals and don't waste your time, go for it now. You mentioned that even right after having your second child, you went straight for your coaching certification and you just made the most out of that time that you were able to have. And so I think with that, you can pull that thread into how you're then helping your clients. Maybe you could give us a little more of a concrete example of how you're able to help your clients achieve their goals.
Yes, of course. So one of my clients, I actually just had a session the other week with her. She's absolutely incredible, but she's been in the corporate space for quite some time. And she had previously lost her job because like she was made redundant. And so she got another job. And she's been feeling really unfulfilled, really stuck and wanting to change. But she had a lot of fear and anxiety because, of course, after losing that job, now she's got a secure one. And so she just felt stuck and she couldn't move. So what we did is we worked through those fears and we got crystal clear on what it is that she actually wants to have. And it's just been absolutely incredible. So after just one session, she has entered into this new venture. So she's got a side hustle going on. She's already built out like her website, and she's taking the steps to actually create a life that she loves, but not abandoning where she is. She's doing it by expanding her comfort zone. So she's doing what's comfortable with her, like in her own nervous system, in her own body, but moving forward. And she's so lit up and fired up, and she's so energized. And I love that in just one session, she was like, okay, I'm not happy. What do I want to do instead? How am I going to get there? And then had an action plan of like steps to take. And that's what I do. The same as what Nina does, is breaking it down, and done is better than perfect. I'm always about messy action. So yeah, within just one session, she has just released all of those fears holding her back. And actually like put her money where her mouth is, and has invested in a business venture, which is incredible. Something she's wanted to do for years and yet never felt confident enough to take that step.
I like that little turn of phrase, the messy action.
Yeah.
Could you give an example? What does that mean? How would you take messy action, or how do you live that? What do you do?
So I am a reformed perfectionist. And I think a lot of people can relate to this, where you have something that you want to do and you just keep doing it and tweaking it and adding to it, and it's never quite done. And so something that I'm doing myself is taking messy action, is learning, for example, all about creating web pages and funnel pages and things like that. And it would be very easy for me to not create anything and put it out there for the public because it's not finished yet. But instead, I do it because I can always change it afterwards. And I think this was a key point that Nina mentioned about failure. Once you recognize that failure is not failure, it's feedback, and you take that step, that feeling that you get in your stomach, those butterflies of like, oh, that's not perfect. That is the moment where you need to like press send. That is the moment where you just need to do the thing. Because once you've done it, you're like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So like as a teacher, I'm great at presenting, I'm great at sharing, but I had a lot of fear about going live on social media. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I will fluff my words. Maybe I won't know what to say. I'm going to start small and just introduce myself. I took the action. I didn't know where all the buttons were. It took me ages to click off it, but I did it. And then I had the confidence. I was like, well, I didn't die, right? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to do another one and another one and another one. And in that action, you're growing and evolving. And it's incredible to watch. So whatever it is that you've been putting off, you know that thing, just do it. Just do a version of it. You can go back and change it. But doing it is where the growth is.
And you have to start somewhere, right? Take that first step. Yeah. Well, and so speaking of first steps, do you have anything that you are stepping out? Do you have any milestones? Do you have any workshops coming up, something where you're taking that first step forward or starting something new?
Yes, exactly. I have got two things that I would love to share with you. So the first is a free resource that I'm giving out because I'm coming from this place of service of wanting you to step into like this version of yourself that is not held back by fears, doubts, and insecurities. And it's called Fear Less, Do More. It's an interactive workbook and a bonus guided meditation for unshakable confidence. So if you are feeling like you want to take that next step, but you're not sure how, like this will help you do it, and it's completely free. And also I have this week, it's been really busy. I'm creating a free 4-day event called Design Your Destiny. And it's going to be a mini boot camp, like 20-30 minute trainings every day for 4 days, where you can get crystal clear clarity on exactly what it is that you want, release those blocks that are holding you back, and actually become really magnetic to your desires by creating a compelling vision for what it is that you want to have in your life. And it's going to draw you forward. And it's just going to be an incredible 4 days. And that will be in September. So I decided it would be better, particularly for those mums out there, all those parents who are really busy with the kids over summer and then they're back to school. So it's going to be the 24th to the 27th of September, and it will be a virtual event. And this is for anybody who is feeling like stuck, lost, directionless, not sure what they want to do next. They know they're meant for more, but haven't quite got there, or maybe they're self-sabotaging. Like this is going to be absolutely incredible because you can just reset, right? You can get a jump start on New Year's resolutions and finish the year strong. And that's also completely free.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. And do share the resources with us. We'd be happy to share them with our community as well. So I want to thank you for the interview, Natalie. And if anybody would like to learn more about Natalie's coaching offers, I encourage you to visit her webpage or maybe connect with her on LinkedIn or via social media. She's also on Instagram and TikTok too.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah, wonderful. So you can also see other GABC member updates on the GABC LinkedIn Showcase page. And on that note, I'd like to bring up the subject of membership. If you like what we do and want to broaden your network while supporting your local German American Institute, I encourage you to like, share, donate, and or become a member with us. As a nonprofit organization, the Carl-Schurz-Haus relies on the support of our local and virtual community members. So if you aren't a member yet and are interested in becoming one, please visit our website or send me an email. We are headed into the summer holidays, but the Carl-Schurz-Haus cultural programming calendar this fall features a variety of politically charged events centered around the upcoming US presidential election. And you can check out the Carl-Schurz-Haus website for more information. They will be posted relatively soon. For anyone looking to improve their English skills this summer, we also offer business English courses and one-on-one lessons, both online and in person. And if you miss one of our events, be sure to check out our YouTube page for recordings. You can also stay informed on upcoming GABC events by signing up for our newsletter. And we are currently gathering feedback on all of the events at the Carl-Schurz-Haus. We'd be pleased if you could participate in a very quick, it'll take you maybe 10 seconds, a survey. Jonathan's going to drop it into the chat here. For those participating via Zoom, once you close out, you'll probably receive an automatic link for it. But that would be wonderful. That would help us out in our stats to see how we're doing. So I would once again like to thank my guests, Nina and Natalie, for joining me today. It's been highly informative, and we did it in less than 30 minutes. So thank you to all of our viewers, all of our listeners for learning while you lunch. The next lunch break will be October 23rd. Please save the date for that. And I do believe we already have Natalie who might be coming on to do a little presentation there for us. So I hope to see you again, either online or in person at the Carl-Schurz-Haus for our next event. Please enjoy the rest of your lunch break, everyone, and have a nice day.